So what the letters stand for, all students take calculus, stand for what trig function is positive and in which quadrant. So let's first go over our quadrants, in case you forget those. Okay, quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, goes counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, Roman numerals. All right, so the all students take calculus. Again, it's just like PEMDAS in that the first letter stands for everything that it means. So this will be all students take calculus. It goes in the same order as the quadrants. So every time you do one of these problems, you're going to want to set up this little template. And what this stands for, all, this means in this quadrant, it tells you which trig functions are positive. So all trig functions are positive in quadrant 1, which means the sine is positive, the cosine is positive, and the tangent is positive. All the reciprocals will also be positive. Okay, so if an angle falls in this quadrant, all of the sine, cosine, and tangent will be positive. What do you think the S is standing for? Sine. So in this quadrant, the sine is the only thing positive, meaning the cosine is negative and the tangent is negative. And if you go back to our examples on the front, that was the quadrant it fell in, and you'll see that our sine is positive, but all the other ones were negative. Now, they don't tell you this, but you want to add it in. The cosecant, remember, is the reciprocal of the sine. It's also going to be positive. So the reciprocal identities will follow the same as the regular one. What do you think the T stands for? Tangent. So in this quadrant, the tangent is positive, but the sine will be negative and the cosine will be negative. Now the reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. That will also remain positive. And the C tells us that the cosine is positive, but everything else is negative in quadrant 4. What's the reciprocal of cosine? Secant. The secant will also be positive. Okay, so we're going to do a process of elimination essentially based on the information they give us to figure out through the little riddle which quadrant will the angle lie in. So draw a little template and label all students take calculus. All students take calculus. All right, now they're going to give you inequalities like greater than or less than 0. I usually write above that positive or negative. So if the sine is greater than 0, that means the sine is positive. Where is the sine positive? Here, right? And also here. All of them are positive here. So the sine's positive here and here. Bless you. So we're going to eliminate, based on the first statement, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. The sine is not positive in those. Then we go to the second part. Cosine has to be greater than 0. So cosine is also positive. Which of those two quadrants will have a positive cosine? A and C, but we already eliminated C, so it has to be A. Now your answer is not A, your answer is what number quadrant that is, and this is quadrant 1. Okay, next one, draw your template. All students take calculus. If it says the sine is less than 0, does that mean the sine is positive or negative? Negative. So go to where the sine is positive and eliminate those choices. The sine is positive there, we don't want it. The sine is positive there, we don't want it. So now we have quadrants 3 and 4 left. Then it says tangent is greater than 0, which means tangent is positive. Which of these two have a positive tangent? The one with the T. Okay, technically all would also have it too, but we already crossed that one off. So it has to be this quadrant, which is quadrant 3. Making sense? Yeah. Then they start throwing in on example C and D some of the reciprocal identities. So you just need to think about the original. Remember, cotangent will be the same thing as tangent. So you can just think of it as the tangent. I know they'll be reciprocals, but their symbol, positive or negative, will be the same. So all students take calculus. Start with the cosine. Cosine is less than 0, which means that it's negative. So eliminate where cosine is positive. Where's the cosine positive? A, all of them are positive, and C, that's where cosine is positive. We want it to be negative. Then it says tangent has to be less than 0. So the tangent is negative. Well, the tangent is positive there. So get rid of that. We're left with quadrant 2. And our last one, we have 2 reciprocal identities. Secant is the reciprocal of which one? Cosine or sine? Cosine. You don't have to memorize this. That's on your sheet if you have it. So this is the cosine is positive. So obviously cosine is positive here and here. So eliminate the other 2. Cosecant, remember that's the reciprocal of the sine. Sine is less than 0, so the sine is negative. All of them are positive here, which means the sine would be positive. We don't want that. So we're left with quadrant 4. So we have 1 of each, you noticed. 1, 2, 3. All right, 2 closures for you guys to try. And then your homework is the next page. I will let you know it is a front and a back. It's not that long, time-wise, for you to complete, but I spaced it out so you have room to draw your triangles.